Hello, everybody, and welcome to Scholars in the Spotlight, the show where you get to hear first-hand insights, tips, and tricks from students that won this year's WWDC Scholarship. Joining us today is the developer and creator of PlanetARium, winner of the 2020 Swift Student Challenge. Please welcome Christian. Christian, good morning, and thank you for being here with me today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to talk with all the different winners of this WWDC.
Yeah,
And get to hear a little bit about their projects.
yeah. No,
So, please tell us a little bit about how PlanetARium works.
um, so I've been using SwiftUI for the past year, so pretty much everything that you see as part of the UI is completely SwiftUI. Pretty much the only bit that isn't SwiftUI is I had to include an AV player with a UI view representable. So yeah, I just find it a lot easier to use, and especially for something like this playground, it's just a lot easier to get out prototypes quickly and just get a good design out really efficiently and actually have it look nice.
Yeah, I mean that's the flexibility that Swift UI is bringing us, right? It's like
Yeah,
very little code, very flexible.
yeah, exactly, and that's why I've been using it for pretty much since it came out, but and I've found it really enjoyable to use. It's just really easy as compared to UIKit for me personally, and um, and yeah, with the playground, also, I did want to use Reality Kit for the AR side, but I found that it didn't really offer enough customization because, like my AR, in my AR experience, I wanted to include an actual Swift UI view in AR, and Reality Kit wouldn't let me do that. And also the documentation, I found it really wasn't that good. So I just went with just AR Kit, just with Scene Kit, and I actually had never used that before, so it was great to learn about that as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome. Like it was a very good result. What I could see in the YouTube video. I wanted to try the playground myself, but I don't have access to an iPad, so I
Oh
couldn't.
yeah,
Uh, it looked like very refined. I thought that you had played with ARKit before, so very well done.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, and then also, I mean, the other thing was the hand tracking, which was the main way to interact with it. And so actually earlier, like not related to the playground, I was training the ML model for something else, and I actually I tried a whole bunch of ways to do hand tracking, but I found a project that it was for actual segmentation. It was like mobile segmentation, and it was actually completely different from what I thought I'd be using, but it was pretty fast and it worked really well. So I trained it on about 1,000 images and masks, and about 3,000 like epochs, like runs on Google Colab, and it actually worked pretty well. So I just thought I imported that into my playground, and yeah, that works pretty good.
Oh, that's awesome. So you trained the ML model. I thought that it was like something included in ARKit or something, but that's really
Yeah,
cool.
in actually in iOS 14 they included hand pose tracking, so obviously much better than mine, but um
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
yeah,
It's very great to see how they are improving every year. Every WWDC they come with new stuff for, especially for AR and machine learning, right?
yeah, and I mean it was kind of my inspiration to create something with AR, like because especially with all of the Apple glasses and stuff like that, the rumors, I reckon that's going to probably be the next like big step in like I guess viewing and like interacting with technology. And so I wanted to create something that would show how we could interact with stuff like that in the future. And I thought that using that hand tracking would be a good way to kind of preview it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's so cool to play with AR like this, and like seeing this kind of project it like gets me really excited for Apple Glass and the next technologies, especially
Yeah,
in education. Like I think that it will be a very good place to implement AR.
yeah, for sure, definitely. I mean, I reckon it's gonna definitely, it's gonna probably, I reckon it's gonna be a game changer for like a lot of things because, I mean, imagine just having like, I don't know, I'm just really excited for that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, me too, really.
yeah,
Okay, so why don't you explain to the people that might have not seen your project what I think it had like three main parts? Is that
yeah.
correct?
So, originally I wanted to just create something that was like to show how AR would work, but obviously that was way too broad. So, I wanted to do something that was educational and interesting, and it was pretty easy to like find information on. So I just chose to do the planetarium, and so I have the main page, which is basically just a Swift UI view um, inside ARKit that you can interact with, like with hand tracking through the camera, and basically that just lets you go through the planets and see some simple facts about them. And the next page shows you it's a like a 3D like planetarium, I guess, of like the all of the planets orbiting around each other, and then you can use your hand to go and like tap on them in through the like not through the camera, but through the hand tracking.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and it will show their name and point to you. And then the last page was like a quiz that quizzes you on the information that you learned previously.
Oh yeah, and that last the quiz pay part had a very cool like with the hand tracking also that you could select like the answers like you point two fingers or three fingers and it
Yeah,
would select the
exactly.
answer with that.
Yeah. I wanted to include hand tracking for the whole thing. And then I also included just a normal touch version in case someone didn't want to use the hand tracking for some reason or it didn't work. So that was just there as a backup.
Oh yeah, oh that's cool.
Yeah,
Okay, and in terms of the challenges, I mean, I never play with AR or ML myself,
yeah,
and I would guess that there are a lot of things that could go wrong, like with the
yeah,
models or things like that. Like,
yeah.
is there anything like a big challenge that you had to overcome?
Um, I've played with ML before, and I think that I was really lucky that I actually got all of the images and trained the ML model even before the challenge was announced because it was for actually another project. And then I reckon that if I had trained it after they announced the challenge, I probably wouldn't have had enough time to get it working because that was probably one of the hardest things, finding and annotating all of the images. Um, and also, obviously, with ARKit, I'd never used it before. So not only that, I had to work out how to put a Swift UI view in ARKit and interact with the scene through the Swift UI. So I had to use a bit of combine there to get that communication working.
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. I mean, it definitely shows when you see the project and you read the code that a lot of work has been put into it. And I think it's one of the main reasons that you may have won the SSC
Yeah,
because like it really shows. It really shows when a student puts a lot of work into it and like go-
yeah, thank you.
goes hard at it.
Yeah,
You're welcome, man. Yeah, your submission is great.
thanks.
So, and I want to touch on that, like that you said you have the models beforehand and the ML model trained.
Yeah,
I think that a lot of students maybe like constrain themselves to the 15 days that Apple gives you. But I think I've learned, like I participated myself, I didn't win, but I only have those 15 days to do my project. But I think that for next year, I'm definitely starting before the challenge is even announced. I think that there is nothing wrong with that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I'd say like there's no point constraining you to those things if you have some code or some project that you've worked on before that you think would be really good to include in your playground. There's no problem including it. There's nothing against the terms and conditions or whatever that say you can't do that. So you might as well use that to your advantage to include the something that you've worked on previously or work on it before. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I want to hop on now to some tips or tricks you might have for future students that may apply next year, or I don't know, in the future. Like there's something that you learned this year that want to transmit.
Well, I mean, this was my first year applying, so I mean, I'm not that experienced. Um, but I think that just do something that you're really interested in because I think that the judges actually can tell when it's something that you actually are really like interested in. And especially with the essays, I think that you shouldn't leave them to last minute because they actually go to 1/3 of the process of marking them. And so I'd say just take some time to write it up and make sure that it's perfect. And for me, I easily reached the word limit. So for the first, like, I think it was 2 boxes. So I think that you shouldn't be afraid to just actually explain why why you've created this playground. And even though the actual technology you use, it's really important, but the creativity and the essay is just as important, and it goes to the same amount of the 1/3 of the process. And I mean, obviously, don't be afraid to try new things and or go back, as I said before, go back and use projects or code that you've already used before, because that can give you a big head start and leave you more time to actually do the perfections and make your playground more perfect, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's completely right. I mean, the one thing that they are looking is people who are passionate about code and who can really get into their project, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't need like there is no requisite to use AR and ML in all your projects. Like there are a lot of projects that just use Swift UI or UIKit and still won't because of that passion that the students puts into it.
Exactly. I think that it's just, yeah, do something that you're passionate or interested in, and it shows in the final product, and I think that they can tell. And yeah, they're more likely to choose someone that is showing that they're really passionate about it, I guess.
Yeah, and don't procrastinate on the essays
Yeah, exactly.
because you want to write good things on that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you want to put work on there. Sure.
yeah, exactly.
That's great. So this WWDC was a little bit different. Like it was the first online
Yeah,
event. This is your first time as a scholarship also,
yeah,
but but not your first time like seeing WWDC, I imagine.
yeah. No, I've woken up many times in the past at 3 a.m. Yeah,
Oh yeah, like the time zones must
yeah,
be really difficult for you.
yeah.
So I want to touch on how was your experience this year as a scholar during WWDC.
Well, obviously we didn't get to go to WWDC, so that was a bit disappointing. But I'm still really happy with just the recognition and just the award that we got. Like, I mean, the jacket and the pins, they're the most exclusive Apple, one of the most exclusive Apple products ever. So that's pretty amazing to have. And the labs, that were also a really great experience. I booked 4 of them, and pretty much all of them were really helpful. Um, but yeah, I still feel like it would probably be a more valuable experience if it was actually a physical event. And I mean, it is a little bit disappointing that they didn't even like um, give a mention to us like in the keynote, but
Oh yeah,
because usually they do that to like in the previous years. But all in all, though, I'm happy with what I've received. I'm really happy with it. Yeah,
yeah, WWDC. in general was really cool. Like this new online form with the shorter videos and Apple Campus in the background.
Yeah, I really liked the new sessions. They were great.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think that it was missing a little bit, like the recognition to the scholars. This
Yeah,
was it was mentioned before, but this year it was not put to the side. Like we have to cross our fingers and wait for next year. Like I know they said that they wanted to fly the 2020 students to 2021 WWDC if it is even a physical event.
yeah, hopefully.
But we will see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Yep.
Okay, so what holds you for the future? Like what other projects are you working on? I've seen that you have released some Swift UI frameworks
Yeah.
in the past. They are pretty cool. So what are you working on?
Um, well, obviously I've been using SwiftUI a lot. I've been I've been making some I've been making a wait, do you know Home Assistant?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of just it's honestly just an experiment to learn about SwiftUI and the Home Assistant API at first. And it was like a client app, and I know that heaps of them already exist, but I feel like they either um, losing out on other features or design. So I wanted to create something that looked nice and also had great features for Home Assistant made in SwiftUI. So I've been playing around with that, and obviously as I'm creating that, discovering new things about SwiftUI and just creating, just posting it and just for other people to use because sometimes I make some great discoveries, and then yeah, I like to share that.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like, and it's the main way to learn, right? To make a project about something that you know, that you understand, that you want to be made. Like you said, there are maybe a lot of Chrome Assistant apps, but this will be yours, and you will be have experience in the API and gain a lot of experience in the web. Like the last Parallax framework that you did is very cool too. I'm actually using that in one of my personal projects. So, so yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, cool, thanks. Because honestly, I wasn't even going to. It was just an experiment at first, but now it's actually kind of turned into something, and now I'm actually thinking I might actually release it to the App Store eventually. And it's just, yeah, it's a good for me. The best way to learn is just to go and create something. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure, man. And if you do release it, I want to see the app for sure.
Thanks.
That's great. That's great. I love the community that is building around WWDC and the scholarship and all of that
Yeah, it's been great.
with on Twitter and Discord.
Yeah,
It's been very fun to get into this and start talking with a lot of other students around the world that they are doing the same as us, really.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially on Twitter and Discord, it's been really great. The the Discord server's great as well. Yeah, I've really been enjoying that.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. Okay, and to round things up, I want to talk about your favorite new feature announced at WWDC 20.
Uh, I mean that's a hard one. There was heaps of things that were announced, but to be honest, I'm actually really excited for Macs or Apple Silicon, um, because I've actually been saying for a while now, like the performance improvements we see to iPad processors almost every year. It's pretty crazy, and I can't wait to actually see that integration between software and hardware in a Mac. Um, and also with Big Sur, to be honest, I'm actually really liking the design. I've been using it daily on my MacBook, and yeah, I like it. It's pretty good to me.
Yeah, it's very cool. And like seeing Apple Silicon in the next few years is going to be really cool. Like seeing new MacBooks and iMacs and potentially a Mac Pro with Apple Silicon.
Yeah, I can't wait to see where that takes Macs.
For sure. A big part of the iPhone releases every year is the upgrades in the silicon, right? The processor. Like they have 20, 30 minutes at least dedicated to that, to new improvements yearly. So I think that bringing that to macOS is going to be a game changer.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm excited for. And I mean, in terms of development features, I'm really liking the new SwiftUI improvements. Like, I'm already using grids, the app storage state object, and the page tab views in my app already. It's kind of as if they added everything that I was actually needing. So that
Right.
was also
Yeah.
some great improvements.
Yeah. SwiftUI 2.0 is really great. Like, it's awesome. I don't think
Yeah,
I actually don't have anything right now that I would think like, oh, I would like them to add this in SwiftUI 3.
yeah,
Like they added all the things like grids and all of that is really cool. And the ability to make a full SwiftUI app now,
yeah, that's pretty cool as well.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Okay, so we will have to continue experimenting with SwiftUI and trying new things. I think that
yeah,
it's going to be a very good year.
definitely. Yeah, I can't wait to keep using it. It's so easy to just keep discovering new things as you use it. That's why, yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that keep popping out, and like you see this really active community that is constantly like showing new things, new frameworks, new technologies, like
Yeah,
discovering SwiftUI. Okay, I think that's it for today.
okay,
Um,
cool.
it was a really good, really cool talking to you.
Okay, cool. It was great talking with you too. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for being here. For all the people that are listening right now, like I will have all the links in the description for like Christian Twitter and the GitHub for PlanetARium, as well as the YouTube link and all of that. I hope you have enjoyed it, that you have learned something. I'm Valentino Cerrotti. This is Scholars in the Spotlight. See you in the next episode.